In this video, we're going to revisit baited ambush. Now, in the last video on this, we used one of our own people as bait to draw the enemy patrol, the enemy element, into the kill zone. In this version of it, we use the enemy's own people as the bait. Now, I thought about this, or remembered it, when I was watching Full Metal Jacket this last week, because I had finally bought a DVD cheap and was watching it. Near the end of the movie, they're in the city of Wei. They're moving through, checking an area out. They get lost, and they got to do a course correction. They got to get back on the route that they're supposed to be patrolling. Now, as their point man is moving forward, trying to check and find a route to get back onto their actual patrol route, he gets taken out by a sniper and things develop from there. Essentially, that was a baited ambush. That sniper was trying to draw that Marine patrol into the ambush they had created. This is something that we can do. It's actually pretty simple when you think about it. Now, something like this would really work against an enemy that pushes a small security element in front of the main part of the patrol. That did occur during Vietnam. US troops, not every unit did this, but some units, when they went out on patrols, would push like 2 people up in front of the main part of that patrol, and they could be 50 meters up, they could be 20 meters up, they could be 200 meters up. They were supposed to be far enough out to give the patrol enough warning if something was up ahead that they could, deploy against that threat and take care of that threat before it is launched against them, before that ambush is initiated against the US patrol. I have heard that the Russians did the same thing in Afghanistan. Especially when they did vehicle convoys, they would send a couple vehicles ahead of the main part of the convoy, a small security element, to try to get the Mujahideen to initiate the ambush before the main part of the convoy got there. They did that especially with their supply convoys. So in this one, we had a security element located ahead of the main part of the enemy patrol. We have 3 of our people set up. For those of you that remember from 2 years ago, one of the hunter-killer teams. So we have 1 machine gun. We have our designated marksman, our sniper. And we have our anti-tank weapons person, who also would have a rifle. Security patrol moved into a more open area where we initiated the ambush. Now, this ambush, it could be multiple people taking shots at the exact same moment. This can be done. I know US snipers do train for this. I've seen this on documentaries, where you'll have multiple snipers. They're listening over a radio. You have one person that's in charge. Each person is given a particular target. They sight in on that target. The countdown is done, and at the end of that countdown, all the snipers pull the trigger at the exact same moment, so it sounds like it's only 1 shot. So that could be the same situation. We get 2 people here. Both of them have scoped weapons. They take their shots and drop both the security people. They kill one, they make sure one of them's still alive so that he's out there, screaming and calling for help. But he's incapacitated. He can't get up and crawl his way out, and if he tries crawling out, well, you take out that arm or whatever to put him back down on the ground to keep him inside that kill zone. Or it could be a smaller IED or a mine. So command detonate a claymore, maybe a claymorette, some type of small charge, anti-personnel charge. You detonate it right next to the one of them to kill the one, and you wound the other. Now the main part of patrol, they're going to hear that noise. They're going to know something happened. They'll probably be trying to get on the radio if they have a radio with this security element. There's no guarantee they will. They're trying to call ahead, find out what's going on, what happened. If you initiated with an IED or a command detonated mine, they'll call back, we hit a booby trap. And they're going to move forward to try to provide first aid in security area. If they get dropped by snipers, you know, they'll call it out, you know, hey, we got hit by a sniper. Or snipers. When this element comes in, they're going to be on alert. They're going to be very paranoid about the situation. They're going to be checking out everything as much as possible. They're going to move up to the edge here, the clearing area, and they're going to try developing the situation, try to figure out what happened. So our people would have to be well camouflaged. Maybe to the point of actually using ghillie suits and stuff and hiding inside the grass, hiding inside the bushes. But our people are well concealed. They do not take their shots until the enemy is in the kill zone. Now we may have a situation where they're here. They may send a team going one way, team going the other way to secure both sides of this kill zone, and that would be the smart thing for them to do. So you should plan ahead that maybe you want to seed a few tripwires, a few mines or something up in this area. Just remember to police those tripwires and those mines up at the end of the ambush. Take them with you, don't leave them out there. You do not want civilians setting this stuff off later. And they may not set it off later that day, it could be a couple years from now. Make sure to take that stuff with you. Do not leave it behind. But we try keeping them from flanking through, trying to develop the situation. We want them inside the kill zone. If they find nothing, then they might try moving forward to try to take care of their people. Hopefully we get them so emotional, they're not really thinking rationally. And they'll start pushing through, you know, one at a time or a small group into the kill zone. And once that group is inside the kill zone, you engage them and you take them out. Now, how you engage them will be determined by the person in charge of this hunter-killer team. He may say, take them out with sniper, take them out with machine gun. Over here, we got the machine gun covering the kill zone. If he gets a group that comes in here, may tell the machine gun, open up, take them out, and he fires off a burst, cuts them down. So now you got more people inside the baited ambush, inside the kill zone. You know, maybe in this situation we'll have the anti-tank gunner up here, our RPG gunner, our law rocket and that stuff. He knows that they're coming out from over here. We can see them from coming out from over there. We take care of these people here with the machine gun, and then he opens up with the RPG, fires off a couple of them right into over here, detonates them to try to take out the rest of the patrol. That'll be determined by whoever is in charge of this ambush. He's going to make that call. He's going to determine where to place his people. He's going to determine who's going to fire. So all three of these people should have radios and they should have headsets. Headsets are a lot quieter, so you're not going to have that radio squawking when the enemy could be nearby. You'll only have the voice coming across your headpiece. Something to think about. A possible additional accessory that you need to think about for getting a hold of for on your radios. And your radios don't need to be super expensive, the coolest stuff out there. It can be little cheapy ones. It can be your little FRS radios from China Mart, or it could be Baofangs that you got off the internet cheap. Whatever. But just like with all radio comsec, keep your radio chatter to a minimum. So make sure your people plan this stuff out. You know, how are you going to react to the different situations and stuff. But the basics of this, we have our bait in this one. It's wounded enemy personnel. We're trying to draw the rest of the element into the kill zone, either one at a time or in small groups. Now the smart thing for this patrol to do, they end up in this situation. One, they'll start pushing elements off to the right, to the left, to start checking over on these sides. And then when they do that, they start tossing in smoke grenades. They start firing in smoke rounds from their grenade launchers to try to blanket this entire area. Try to obscure everything. Their people start sweeping through. Maybe they hit booby traps, maybe they don't. Everything's blanketed in smoke. Then they send a small team forward into the kill zone at a high rate of speed. They grab the two people and they drag them back to cover the rest of the patrol, and then they perform first aid. That's how they can counter this type of situation. One of those things to be aware of. Now, hopefully we're getting you thinking here. You're considering how you can adjust your tactics and how to counter enemy ways of trying to counter your ambushes. You know, think the things through. You know, what could the enemy's course of action be? How are you going to counter it? And then how may they counter that? Granted, you can be planning, you know, forever on some of this stuff for just a single ambush, but you'll learn your enemy's TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures. It does take a little bit of time, but you'll learn it. They'll become predictable. That is something that is a huge problem with conventional militaries. They get locked into the way they do things. They get taught to do something a particular way, and they always do it that way until they get told to do it differently. We need to be more fluid. Our TTPs need to constantly change during combat. You need to always be a couple steps ahead of your enemy, outthinking them. You may use one tactic one time, two times, maybe four times, and then you're going to change. You always have to be changing up your tactics so your enemy is not able to counter them. So let's hear in the discussion section, how could something like this be done? I'm using just a small element here, a hunter-killer team. You could use a squad. You could use a platoon. You know, you could use even the individual sniper, just like they did in the movie Full Metal Jacket. And that sniper takes their shots, you know, very selectively. There was a situation, a story I read on Carlos Hatchcock. If you do not know who that is, he's one of the best snipers in U.S. history. He was a sniper in Vietnam. He pinned down an enemy patrol inside a rice paddy, if I remember, for well over a day, just picking them off one by one. He got them inside the kill zone, and he just picked them off whenever they were stupid enough to raise their heads up. You know, you could use that type of situation too. Always try to stay ahead of your enemy. Always adjust your tactics. Change them before they expect you're going to change them. Be unpredictable. Now, for all my engineer brothers and the Patriot and Militia movements, always remember, essayons.